mathematician which I described. Also life of a writer to some extent, writing books, promoting, lecturing, going to festivals, TV shows, autograph signing. Interesting also. With books I learned is the best way to connect to people and transmit information and subtle messages. Also life of a public person, giving public lectures about mathematics here and there. Also member of a number of scientific boards. Currently I'm the president of the scientific board of Orange, the company, and I'm member of the newly created scientific board of the European Commission. Lot and lot of interesting things were going on in this, in which you learn and learn many things. And as it was mentioned also, my life as mathematician look like? I told you one episode, which was the moment of finding some connection by randomness. Don't believe that it is as smooth as on that occasion. And let me tell you another emblematic day in my life, which was much more hard work, let's say. So this was back in 2009, and at that time I was a visiting member in Princeton, New Jersey, Institute for Advanced Studies. Princeton is a mythical name in mathematics, and it is said, it is clear that if you look, for instance, where do people who get the Fields Medal come from, the two places which are much more represented than all the other ones are Paris and Princeton. So Institute for Advanced Studies, which was the home of Einstein and many of the greatest mathematicians of the century, I was a visitor there in 2009 for a semester. And on that day that I will evoke for you, I was working very hard late at night, working on fixing a proof. It was a proof about some effect in plasma physics called the Landau damping, as you mentioned it. Landau damping is this effect in plasma physics, and plasma is essentially a gas of electrons, or let's say, a gas in which electrons are separated from the nuclei and live their life. And it's a kind of very ideal world in which there is no friction, no collision, no disorder increase as in a usual gas. And still, even in spite of that kind of perfection, there is spontaneous relaxation, damping, so to speak, of the disturbances. So if you have a plasma and you excite it, spontaneously the excitation will go down instead of being preserved. And so I was working very hard to understand this. I was working in team with a former student of mine who was in Paris at the time, and we were exchanging constantly. I had understood that it was a big thing, a big subject. When I started working on it, I thought it was just one kind of exercise, and then I understood it was not only important, but mathematically a very strong novelty. The proof which we were trying to put together, the proof, you know, is the reasoning by which you convince any fellow mathematician that it has to be so. The proof was more than 100 pages long already, but still not working. Mistake in it that we are trying to fix. I had already, by mistake, announced several months before that I knew how to prove the result. So I was under extremely strong pressure to really prove it. And there I was, trying to fix the proof and trying to find a new element. And there was this core which just didn't work. It was midnight and I was working alone in my house on the countryside. And then it was 1 a.m. and 2 a.m. and 3 a.m. and maybe 3:30. I don't remember when exactly I decided it was impossible and there's no way I'm going to solve it now and so on. Going to bed, you know, in very low spirit. And a few hours later, I awake like, it's time to take the kids to school and wow, how hard it is to get up. And then I hear this voice in my head saying, the second term should be moved and Fourier transformed. The second term should be moved and Fourier... Wow. And this was indeed the start of the solution. Take the second term in the equation, put it on the other side, take the Fourier transform, start working from this, and so on. And go and go and go. It was still hours and hours of effort to solve that particular difficulty, but the solution had appeared to me exactly at waking up, which shows you that even when you think you are desperate for rest, and think that you should think anything else, your brain, while you are sleeping, is still working on it. And that shows another experience in which it was really my life of mathematician and really pure work in some sense. So let's go to work and go to the second part of the theme. What can we say is work? Work, as you know, in French is travail, which comes from tripalium, which means torture in Latin language. Not so happy. In English, it's not as bad. Work is the same root as ergon, which you find in ergonomics, which is associated with positive feelings, like how to design things in such a way that we can use them in the most efficient way. And work can be both. Work can be something which is akin to slavery, something which really harms you, and which is, as you know, you are compelled to do in exchange of getting some resources to live. Or it may be work, the thing which really, the only thing that you are excited about, the activity that you will die for, and sometimes literally. Maybe for some people a work of art, and it's really work of art, the expression which is there. It may be participating in a big collective act. It may be work for a game. It may be work for preparing sport competition, and so on. And there is still the notion of effort, but not the notion of something bad. It's a notion of something good. Work may be a third thing. It may be what you consider your duty, your purpose on this planet. a mission which has been given to you. Maybe like in a Kant type of vision that you believe you have a certain mission to fulfill, to accomplish yourself. It may be like that you were given this mission by some authority you respect. One beautiful example in science is for the scientists who worked on defining the meter. You know that meter was an invention of the French Revolution, with the idea that one had to define a unit of measure that was universal and shared by all of mankind. This was the, let's say, the French thought at its best. And